I think you will agree with me that we spend a lot of our energy towards collecting or ensuring that we have enough food to eat. Why is food such an important thing? Why is it such a big deal? Why is humanity always striving and spending most of their time on procuring and ensuring that have enough to eat? The answer is clear and simple. It's because food is our source of energy. Whatever work we might be engaged in, our energy, our source of strength is the food that we eat. And we all eat something or the other, right? We are spending a lot of our times in eating. And yet, ironically, even though we have the food which is supposedly a source of energy, we still face disease. We still have illness. In fact, we are noticing an increased spate of diseases and illness in the last 100 years or so. And shouldn't we wonder why? We need to question the techniques we are using for farming and for producing this food that is the source of our energy. Are the weedicides, the herbicides, the pesticides that we are using doing us harm and poisoning the environment? Is it an easy answer to increasing our food supply? An easy answer that has homogenized the crops grown all over the world and reduced them to a mere handful like wheat, rice, corn, soy, tea or coffee, whether the local food systems, the environment and resources support their production or not. If we think about the choices we have made in the last few decades, it will not come as a surprise why we are becoming increasingly vulnerable to pathogenic attacks and why one of them has brought us, the entire world, to a grinding halt today. It is only when we ask these questions and look for answers as a community will there be a solution, a long-term solution. We are aware that this virus originated in an animal market in China, but as a scientific community, shouldn't we be asking why? Shouldn't we be asking why all the past viruses like SARS, MERS, Ebola have all originated in animals? Is there a connection, or does the answer lie in the way we are treating animals and other life forms today? How come with that scientific bent of mind that pushes to ask questions and to get to the bottom of things, we have not been able to answer the question as to why these viruses have sprung from animals? We clearly have the tools to investigate and find the answers. But is there a will to do so, and are we looking in the right direction? Why is it that our body's capacities have diminished to such an extent that we cannot face an onslaught of a small virus? Because we agree that most of the food that we eat is the source of our energy, clearly there is some disconnect here. There is something wrong or something inadequate in what we are eating and how it is helping us to face these onslaughts. Pathogenic onslaughts have not been new. And even though we notice a disparity in the way some of our bodies respond to pathogenic onslaughts, it seems like we are becoming weaker and weaker as a race. Our health is deeply, intrinsically connected to what we eat or what we take into our bodies by way of food, water, and the air we breathe. And all of these are connected to our environment. The quality of the food that we eat and the strength that it gives depends on the way we grow it. We need to be able to see that the toxic chemicals we are using to grow our food for agricultural practices are a product of the world wars, and in no way do they protect and nurture life. In no way are they sustainable, and in no way can we continue dumping them on our land and expect to remain healthy and safe. There are other organic ways, sustainable ways that do not make our environment toxic and do not make us sick, that help us produce food and meet the targets of food for the entire world's population today. Dr. Khader Wali, who is a biochemist and homeopath, has been doing research in this area for the last 40-50 years. He has been helping people and curing them of incurable diseases like diabetes, which was declared as incurable by mainstream scientific medical practice. It is only the adoption of ancient practices of healing that have led to the cure of diabetes, and there are innumerable people who are seeing a reversal of their diabetic conditions, reversal of their heart diseases, reversal of hypertension, and many such autoimmune conditions and diseases which we are being increasingly advised to accept and live with. Are we going to say that using the power of plants and making dietary corrections to cure diabetes, to cure hypertension, and to cure many other diseases is unscientific? The truth is that the body responds very quickly to the right foods. And Dr. Khader Wali explains very clearly and scientifically the connection between our food and our health. We cannot separate the effect that food has on our bodies because food is our prime source of energy. We cannot divorce our treatment, our healing, our curative processes from the food we eat. Any system that separates food from illness is to be questioned. Certain special herbs and plants and plant-based foods have been used for curing, for healing, for strength for centuries in many parts of the world. Giloy, tulsi, ashwagandha are some of the herbs that are assuming significance and importance in many parts of the world today. They have been used traditionally to cure a lot of conditions. So are we going to say that their use is unscientific? Before the scientific labs of the last 100 or 200 years, there has been another bigger lab where experiments have been continuously carried out, and that is the lab of nature. By observing things in nature and seeing their effect on our bodies, we have been able to conclude important things about these plants. And I will share a conversation here with you that you might find interesting and enlightening.
So last year my father-in-law was very sick, and we had taken him to multiple doctors and they were not able to diagnose with severe cough. But my mother-in-law strongly believes that even though he was very, very sick, the doctors were not able to diagnose the plant or the herb which cured him was giloy, because she gave him giloy along with the medication, but they both think actually the medication didn't help. It was a giloy plant that's why he's alive.
So what
today.
Was he diagnosed? What did the doctor say was going on with him?
He had severe cough. They were not able to exactly diagnose what problem he had. They said he had sarcoidosis, or he had inflammation in the lungs, or he had cancer in the blood. But finally, after all the tests, they were not able to tell him exactly what was wrong. He was just treated.
How long did this diagnosis last?
Like about a year.
Just the diagnosis?
The diagnosis part took, the whole treatment and all that took a year, but the diagnosis part from the beginning, it was more than 6 months. It was crazy times.
He was even tested for cancer, like the culture taken?
He was, he was taken, biopsy was taken for the back, from his back.
And how did your mom-in-law think of giloy?
I think some herbal doctor told her that she should give him giloy, and my mother-in-law believes that it was giloy, which had, because of that he's okay. His cough is not there anymore, because he wasn't even able to breathe.
Wow.
Sad.
And you thought he's not going to make it?
Yeah, that's what we thought. He wasn't going to make it. But every time I talked to her about how he was doing, she said, I'm giving him giloy in the morning or at night, twice or something. She was doing. And
so was there anything else that she did that was different, or just giloy?
Just the giloy. And she swears by giloy, even if that's why she told me, go get it. If anyone is willing to share, I should have that plant at home.
Yeah. So you're a dentist.
Right.
You're trained in
allopathic.
Yeah.
But I hardly take any medications for myself. For me, I believe in herbal stuff. So if my kids are sick, I would do ajwain and all that stuff instead of giving them medication. So they have been good, my kids, healthy.
And giving them these herbal medications.
Herbal medication.
Being an allopathy yourself.
Being allopathic myself, I think the herbs work so much better. Tulsi, I do tulsi. I'll do ajwain when they're sick. Since they were kids, I've been doing that.
Wow, and this is whenever they had cough.
Whenever they had cough, because I don't give any medication
How
to
much
kids.
is one medicine?
I have never given them medication for cough till today.
Dr. Khader really understands the biochemical processes taking place in our body, and it is after research conducted over years, 30, 40, 50 years, that he is now sharing his answers and solutions to our health problems and even to food shortage. We need to hear those solutions, understand them and embrace them. We need to adopt, as he has been showing, sustainability as a goal in producing foods. We need to direct research to local food systems and making decoctions of local flora. These are ways to restore health in us, to restore fertility in the soil, to restore nutrients back in the food so they don't have to be synthetically manufactured and given to us in pills. It is only when we begin to make connections of our environment to us that we will be able to bring in a change that will benefit us and future generations. We need to see ourselves as a small part of a larger natural system in which every form has a place and importance.